it's been weighing on me. If I'm being completely honest, it definitely some things have come into the light that have been starting to kind of weigh on me a little bit. What's up, tribe? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again. If you're new here, then my name is Mariah, and my husband and I have been on a pregnancy journey for our rainbow baby number 2 for the past, oh my gosh, it's like what, 7 months or so? Wow. 7 months has gone by super duper fast and super slow at some moments. Of course, the sickness makes it feel like it's just dragging along, but this pregnancy definitely feels like it's just kind of coasted right on by at the same time. But today I'm bringing you guys another bump date. This is for weeks 30 through 33. I'm currently in my 33rd week. And if you see me looking over, it's because the baby monitor is over here. Rain's upstairs in the playroom, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on him while trying to get through this at the same time. And as you guys may have noticed with this pregnancy, I have not done weekly bump dates just because for me it takes about 3 weeks to have anything of substance to actually come to you guys with, other than my essentially showing you my belly each week, which is not changing from week to week anyway. So it's about a solid 3-week period for me to go to appointments and actually have things to update you guys on. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so starting off for week 30, all of my appointments are off the typical schedule just because there was a few times where my MFM was too booked up to actually like get me in, so I was like running a week behind, and I've been seeing them about approximately every 4 to 5 weeks depending on their availability. So I actually went in at the last day of week 30, and during that time I did my glucose test, got my iron checked, and of course got another ultrasound. So I'm going to show you guys the ultrasound pictures. Here is one, our super duper pudgy baby. The baby was measuring just over 4 pounds at this appointment, and as you can see, the cheeks are definitely pudgy. And there's another one, a hand over the face, and then one of the feet pressed up into my abdomen as well as the head and hand. So looking at the ultrasound pictures, they are definitely consistent with what I feel. I feel like I'm out of room. I've felt that way for weeks now. My rib cage is hurting a lot from the pressure of the baby sitting on that particular side. Like that is the favored side, is my right side. So right just below my breast, essentially those 2 to 3 ribs below my breast hurt bad. Like most days I feel like there's something going on with my lung because it is that painful. And I've tried a number of things to encourage the baby to move, but that's the favorite spot apparently. And it's also starting to mess with my back as well. I have noticed that too. My back is a lot sore on that particular side, and it's in one localized spot. That's how I know it's pressured just from the baby and not just from like overall pregnancy, because it's not my whole back. It's literally like one softball size area. So a lot of discomfort there, but the good thing is that I did my 1-hour glucose test again, and I do not have gestational diabetes. That came back perfectly fine. I wasn't really worried about it. Didn't really think I had that going on anyway. I didn't have it with my last pregnancy, and I know each pregnancy is different, but it wasn't a major concern. Also, I know I told you guys that I have been having like a lot of ice cravings, even to the point of going out and getting a nugget ice machine. And a lot of you were like, get your iron checked. Even though I knew my iron was perfectly fine, I still went ahead and got it checked anyway, and my iron's perfectly fine. I'm not anemic or anything like that. I think I just like the texture and consistency of the ice, so no issues there. My platelets I think were a little bit low the last time they checked them, but that was about it. But like I said, that is separate from my iron itself, and it was the same way for Rain's pregnancy as well. So generally I don't have any things additionally that I'm like really concerned about. As far as the reflux is concerned, I'm still battling the reflux. I am pretty much losing the battle, and I've come to terms with that by now because they prescribed me Prilosec last, and I was taking that with no consistent benefit. I was still suffering from a lot of reflux, so I was like, I don't really feel the greatest about continuing to consume this medication when it's not having the desired impact. So pretty much stopped the Prilosec. I'll still take Tums every now and again and Pepcid every now and again. If I really feel like I'm having a super bad day where I'm struggling, I'll go ahead and take one or both of those, but I've stopped taking the Prilosec and just accepted that until come January, I'm going to be dealing with this reflux, and it is what it is. One thing that I did do additionally originally was talk to a nutritionist. I was supposed to have a nutrition consult like months ago. Unfortunately, with the referral system, they never contacted me, and it's not the type where you can reach out and contact them. It has to go through the referral system with my type of insurance because it's through the military. So I finally got in with the nutritionist, as late in the game as ever. The nutritionist gave me some tools to hopefully, you know, help reduce the amount of reflux, and it's like typical things, staying away from like certain fruits and stuff like that I notice cause more reflux, cutting back on, if not eliminating caffeine, because that can definitely agitate reflux, which I told him not really doing caffeine anyway. I have like maybe 1 cup of coffee per week at this point because I don't have a desire to drink it for the most part. Cutting back on things like chocolate, and he gave me like a list of other potentially acidic foods. Of course, he told me that everyone is different, everyone's body processes food differently, so what some people might be able to tolerate and it not give them reflux, other people that will be a immediate reflux trigger. So I've been doing some things dietary wise, or being mindful of certain things dietary wise, but like I said, I think it's just one of those things. It don't matter. I could drink water and next thing you know, I have major reflux going on. Another thing that I found out, that they actually did a survey of what I typically eat in a day. So he asked me to run through a full day of everything I eat and everything I drink. And for him, what stood out as a major concern is the fact that like during pregnancy, you're supposed to be getting like a minimum of about 60 grams of protein per day. And with what I'm consuming in my diet, because a lot of those animal-based proteins for me personally are cut out during pregnancy, because frankly, I have a lot of aversions to them a lot of times. Because of that, I am getting well under 40 grams of protein per day, which was a little bit surprising to hear. I guess I thought that I was still making up for it in other ways, like with drinking the protein-based almond milk and things of that nature, but it's kind of like at this point there's not much I can do about it but move forward and change the things that I needed to change. So we both agreed on me starting protein shakes again. In Rain's pregnancy, I did do protein shakes. I did Premier Protein, as well as I think I cut out Premier after a while because it didn't make me feel the greatest, and then switched to Ensure because I wasn't able to eat a whole lot either. From doing Ensure with his pregnancy, like I never want to see Ensure ever again in life. Like even in my elderly age, it is the most disgusting thing to me at this point, and maybe it's just because that was the only thing that I was drinking like every single day just to get the calories and the protein in. But he offered another alternative, which is the Fairlife Core Power Elite. This one comes in, I believe, vanilla and chocolate. I'm not sure if the Elite comes in strawberry, banana. So there's 2 of them. They have the Core Power and then the Core Power Elite. This one has 42 grams of protein in it. So I'll usually drink one of these and then one of the Core Power ones, which has about, I think, 26 grams of protein in it per day. And this, like I said, is mainly to get me to that 60 gram minimum. That way, no matter what I eat on a daily basis, I at least am making sure that I get enough of that protein in. Honestly, hearing that, like, I don't feel like you ever feel great after talking to a nutritionist realistically, but after hearing that, I was just like, oh, I felt so bummed out, and I to some extent had like that guilt creeping in, like, oh, I should have been doing this or I should have been doing that, and it's not a healthy mindset to be in because you can't change anything at this point. But I just wish that I was able to get in contact with a nutritionist and get this consultation a lot sooner, because it would have been helpful, I think, even more so towards the beginning of my pregnancy when I wasn't necessarily consuming a lot of food at all. But such as such, we're here now. I've been doing the Fairlife for probably close to about a month or so now, and it's been working out really good for me, and I think I'll even continue it beyond pregnancy, like just to get kind of back on track and in shape after the baby. I think this will be a good thing to maintain. Another change I made was I swapped out, I was using Colace occasionally, mainly because I had ran out of Miralax and I wasn't able to get another prescriptions, because once again, all my prescriptions go through the military hospital, so it's not like they can just contact CVS and be like, hey, can you put this script in? I'm gonna fax it over to you, and I go pick it up from CVS. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So I have to wait until I go down to the hospital to get all of my medications at the same time. So I was taking taking the whole lace just to kind of help me coast by with the constipation, but I went ahead and got more Miralax from the hospital. And I also started incorporating Benefiber as well, mainly because that's something I can do daily. I can put it in liquids as well as food. I've been usually putting it in like my oatmeal and things of that nature, something that it will very easily blend with. But I noticed that has been helpful in keeping me a lot more regular, which is super helpful in the realm of, I guess you could say, daily energy, because when I cannot go, I feel extremely sluggish. It makes my stomach hurt, it makes me not want to eat, and it just generally makes me feel gross. So the Benefiber definitely has been a major help in that department, and I will more than likely start taking the Miralax consistently just to make sure that this last month and a half-ish proceeds that I'm not getting too backed up, because I kind of want to make sure that I am cleared out, so to speak, before delivering, so that I don't have any additional pressures down there. Other than that, we obviously found out the gender recently. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go back and watch it. But now that we know, we're starting to think about names, because we hadn't really had any name conversations, and time is dwindling down and we still don't have a name. We don't have a first name and we don't have a middle name. So if you guys have any name suggestions, feel free to go ahead and drop them in the comments. I like seeing a variety of what other people come up with, and I'm very particular about names. I need names to have meaning, and yeah, I'm just super picky when it comes to names, which is probably why this is a little bit of a struggle. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling the clock in my head ticking internally because we don't have a name. Aside from that though, baby is moving around a lot and moving around really well, experiencing a lot of hiccups in the last few weeks. I haven't had or noticed baby hiccups, and even with Rain's pregnancy, I don't think not once did he have hiccups, but this one definitely gets the hiccups a lot, and it's really picked up in the last few weeks. So that's a little bit of a funky feeling, so to speak. Also, I feel like I'm very much getting into that, I won't say that nesting mode, but I definitely am getting into that mode of like feeling the need for things to be put in place and thinking about what the bedroom setup is going to look like, because I obviously learned a lot from having Rain in the bedroom for I think about 10 months the first time. I'm basically trying to work through what's going to make life easier, so to speak, and more convenient and more conducive, especially with having, you know, a toddler and a newborn at the same time. So I'm in a space where I have a lot on my mind at the moment, and I'm excited for, you know, the baby to arrive and get here. At the same time, I'm still a little bit nervous because my hospital hasn't been able to hire any more staff like they originally thought they were going to be able to get more staff in to handle a larger patient population in labor and delivery, and that's just not the case, and I don't foresee that happening within the next month. So that right there is a little bit of an added anxiety, if you will. I do have a backup plan, but I would really prefer to not go with that backup plan, because even the backup plan I'm not the most comfortable with. I'm only comfortable with going to the hospital that I've been getting all of my care at. So as we get closer, that's a little bit nerve-wracking, I guess you could say. The good thing also is that with the hospital that I plan to deliver at, they said they haven't had any issues with being affected by any shortages or anything like that. So that's been comforting to hear, and I'm just really hopeful that it all works out and goes according to the plan and I can deliver there and it's a smooth situation. Another thing that I thought was going to be sorted by now was formula. Thought that the formula shortage wasn't going to be so much of a thing anymore, and it still very much is, which is kind of one of those things. It is what it is. It's concerning, but it also is what it is. So what I've started to do is keep an eye out when I go to certain stores for the specific formula that work the best with Rain. I went through I think 3 different formulas with him before we settled on one that actually his body seemed to tolerate the best, and that was the most gentle on his system. So each time I've been going out to the stores, I've just been trying to keep an eye on who's stocking what around what time, because the specific type and brand of formula that I chose, which is the Enfamil Inspire, I guess it's the optimum one, it's pretty hard to come by. I'm not even gonna lie about that. It's very difficult to come by it. Enfamil doesn't even have it on their website in stock right now. Target seems to have it very sporadically. I think Walmart has it very, very sporadically. I think I might have only seen it online in stock once there. And even with Target, like they'll have like 2 in stock and it's survival of the fittest. You better have it in your cart already and be prepared to order when it's in stock, because the moment you even go to try to add it to your cart, it's already gone. So that's been one of the things too that has been a, I guess, minor source of not really anxiety, but it's been playing in the back of my mind, like what are we going to do as far as formula is concerned when we get there, and just being hopeful pretty much that that works itself out. It's one of those things that it's out of our control. Like I said, I foresaw this not being an issue by the time we got closer to delivery, and I think as far as this whole formula situation, it'll probably take at least another year, if not 2 years, for them to finally catch back up production wise. So yeah, there's that. In other news, Jeremy is transitioning jobs currently, and the job stress has definitely impacted our household over about the past year. His job is very intense and highly stressful, which is why I haven't even been on here that much in the past year. It's just because the shift in responsibilities and the amount of time that's available throughout the day. His job has required way more time than it has ever. So while the past year has been kind of a very stressful phase for him particularly, but kind of for the household as well, I am happy that he is transitioning into something that I think will be an overall better fit and less stressful for him to manage on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. And then on the other side of things, we've had stress and family dynamic, not within our household, of course, but we've had some relatives causing some drama and some family stress. So that hasn't necessarily been great or fun to deal with, especially during pregnancy either. So I say that to say that we are definitely in a stage, as far as our household is concerned, of a lot of transitions, and we'll definitely be going through a lot of changes over the next, I would say 2 to 3 months is going to get pretty chaotic as far as adjusting to all of the changes. But it's definitely been something that, like, it's been weighing on me. If I'm being completely honest, it definitely, some things have come into the light that have been starting to kind of weigh on me a little bit. And it's one of those things that, like, I just have to process it. It's not even something that, like, I can just forget about or, like, get over in a day or two. There are things that need to kind of be processed, and there's definitely some changes that we are gonna have to make on our end to make sure that we are protecting our peace and our happiness, and the happiness as far as, like, the kids are concerned and the household is concerned. So yeah, I'll get into more about that in a totally separate video. I'm trying to keep this all more so towards the pregnancy side of things, but there's just been a lot of stuff, honestly, going on behind the scenes that even surrounded the topic of this pregnancy that I was certainly not expecting to come out and to come to the light. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad those things did, but it's definitely just been a lot, so to speak. And I want to also reiterate that it is not anything that is between Jeremy and I or between my husband and I. This is external, external relatives. So it's, like I said, it's one of those things where family dynamics, I feel like, are always just somewhat tricky, or can be somewhat tricky and difficult at times. And this is just on an entirely different level. So I know you guys might be looking at me today and say, like, man, your energy is super low in comparison to what we normally see. But a lot of it is that. And the other portion of it is me literally just being tired, like the physical fatigue of being pregnant and doing more things like around the house to help out. And just, there's just so much stuff. There's just so much stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and show you guys what the bump is looking like. It definitely has popped. It has popped for sure in the last, I would say, month and a half or so. But here's what my bump looks like now. I'm not getting undressed for you guys today. It's not in me. I feel like I'm finally filling out all the maternity clothes, and I love the way I look. For someone who's not liked their body throughout a lot of their life, it's weird to me to like the way I look so much while I'm pregnant, but it's definitely a good kind of weird. I don't feel like, oh, when I'm pregnant, oh, I look fat or sloppy or any of those things. I feel like I look absolutely beautiful, and my belly is super duper cute. Now, don't ask me how I'm gonna feel come postpartum, like, or a few months out from postpartum, because that might be a totally different story. But at least while I'm pregnant, like I said, I love my body in this state, visually in this state. It's weird, I know. Well, that's all for this bump date, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this little miniature update and me just dumping everything on you all. But I hope you all are having a wonderful week. For those of you who are pregnant and going through your pregnancies with me, I hope pregnancy is treating you well. I hope that the symptoms are not taking it out of you too much and that your babies are growing well and healthily. For all of you who are still trying to conceive, I am sending you all positivity and baby sprinkles and baby dust that your babies will soon be coming in 2023. And for everyone else, I just hope you are having an amazing and wonderful week, an amazing holiday season. So have a great holiday, everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.